Well, it's time to give the beautiful Vmax an oil change. For the Vmax, 1, 2,
你而家望緊嘅 Kodokuna Raida YouTube channel。
So my bike's a 1985 Vmax, so it's probably the most difficult to give an oil change, but it's still not hard. Why I say it's difficult? Because the oil filter is in here, and it's got an internal oil filter, where the later bikes, the oil filter external, so you only just unscrew it like a car and put it on. So it's a little bit different. But first we're going to drain the oil, take off the filter, and then I'll show you how we change everything. Great, let's go. Oil filler point on the Vmax is on the right hand side here. So you want to let your oil out down underneath. So you want to loosen this off to allow air to come in the top so it drains out the bottom properly. So just unscrew it. We don't want dirt to get into our motor, of course, so just let it sit on top like that. So under the bike, you'll see this plug here. So that's our drain plug. It's a 19mm. My spanner here. There we go. Of course, now oil's going to come out. In Japan, you buy these packs to drain the oil. And it's like wool or cotton wool in there, but super absorbent. So the oil just drains into there. Undo this plug. Hope you can see okay. Oh, here it comes. Ah! Oh. And there it comes out. So, in this bike, there should be 3.8 litres comes out. If you were changing the oil without changing your filter, you'd only need about 3 litres, but we're going to change the filter as well. So we'll have to put about 3.8 litres back in. So let's let that drain. When it's finished, we'll take off this oil filter cover, which will show you the oil filter. Back in a sec. So this is the oil plug from the bike, the drain plug, and you'll see this part here. This is a magnet. So if there's any metal getting around in your engine, when it comes down in your oil, this magnet will pick it up, and you can see mine is perfectly clean. There's no metal, so I have no metal in my engine whatsoever, which is fantastic news. So I change my oil about every 1,000 kilometers. Now some people might say that's crazy, but I was told that from a mechanic when I was young. Always change your motorbike oil every 1,000 kilometers, and that's what I've done, and it seems to be paying off. So let's go on now to pull this oil filter cover off and see what condition it's in. So I hope you can see okay. The oil has virtually stopped now dripping out of the sump. So here is my bolt. It's a 12mm. Remember, Vmax is all metric, and here oil's falling out. So pull this off. So just be careful when you pull it off, because the oil in the filter housing here is going to be coming out. There she is. So here's the oil filter. So a little bit of oil in there will clean up. And inside here we've got a washer, and then we've got a spring. So the washer goes here, and then we've got a spring. Now that washer is very, very important. Some people leave the washer out when they put it back on. This spring goes in here and it pushes this rubber out and causes big problems. So always make sure you put the spring on and that washer. And it always goes on the back, inside, not on this side, okay, when you're putting it on. So I'll get this all cleaned up. We'll put on the new washer and we'll put it all back together. Okay, so here's my new oil filter. It doesn't matter which way I put it in, but remember, first I put in my spring, okay, then I put on my washer, like that, and then I just slide this filter in, like that. You can see it's on the spring, so when I do that bolt up, this seal will push in hard. And of course we've got a rubber seal that goes in here to seal that up. So now it's simple, we just bolt it back on. Now when you bolt it back on, you'll see here there's a lug and a lug. So that goes up the top like that in the engine and holds this all together. So just slide it up, slide it in, that'll lock in, and you can do this bolt up, the main shaft running through the center. Make sure your seal doesn't fall out all the time. Great, so we'll put it all back together. Now this can be a little bit awkward, but don't worry, you'll get it okay. Just put it up there. There we go. And away we go. Make sure your rubber seal's sitting in place. You'll see now that I'm hitting in between those two top lugs, which is going to make it go into place. Okay. Okay, and that's it. New filter's on. We'll put our sump bolt back in. That's 19 mil. Now for you purists, there will be a torque setting. I don't think you need to worry for a sump bolt or this oil filter cover. You don't need anything. Just make sure it's firm. Don't over tighten it, of course. Just pinch them up. And that's it. We'll make sure it doesn't leak oil when we put the oil back in. So let's go up the top. Now we put a new filter in, so we've got to put 3.8 litres of oil in the bike. So in my bike I'm putting this Yamaha 4-stroke oil SAE 10W40, which is recommended for Yamaha in Japan. So I'll show you the little caps we get in Japan to screw on the top, and we'll put it in. So here's the little caps we get, pourers. So we screw them on there like that. They're nifty. In Australia I've never seen them, but in Japan that's what we use. So now carefully we just fill it up. If you go on forums for Yamaha Vmax, people are always discussing what types of oil to use. I've always used this oil in my bike. That's all I've ever put in since I've had it, and I've had no problems. So I've heard there's some people put like a diesel oil in there. Some people just put oil, ordinary oil in there. I know, well, I've been told that you don't use synthetic oil because it mucks up your clutch plates. So always put mineral based oil. So I'll just continue here, putting this oil in. Okay, that's 3 litres. Before I put in the last little bit, I just want to show you something. Down here is our oil glass. Now you can see at the moment it's full, but remember we've put a new filter on and that's empty of oil. So when I start this up now, a lot of that oil is going to pump into the filter and we're going to have low oil mark. So let me start it up and I'll show you what happens. So now we've run the engine and you can see that the oil now is low. So there's, it might be a little bit dark for you to see here, but there's a dot here and a dot here that have to align. So we need a little bit more oil. So let me put a little bit more oil in there and fill that up to the mark. And then we'll run it again for a little bit longer. Okay, I put a little bit more oil in it. So now we're lined up on either side, the dot and the dot, which is the exact height. So I'm going to run the engine just for a little bit longer, make sure there's oil, completely filled the oil filter and all the engine and everything. And we'll give it one more final check. Okay, it's been running for about a minute. So we're going to just let it sit for a little bit and see what our mark is there once the oil all runs down from the engine, and checks our oil level one more time. When you've got it all back together, make sure you put your filler cap on tight. Finger tight's all you need it, but also check to make sure you don't have an oil leak. So you've got 2 places to oil leak now, on your filter here and also on our drain plug. So just make sure, watch your ground. I've got no oil leak, that everything's done up tight, because you might just have to nip it up again. You can see now the oil is exactly on the mark. So perfect, so we're all done. So you see it's very, very simple to do and easy. But I want to do one more thing before we finish, and that is change the oil in the rear diff for a Vmax. So let me get all set up and we'll change a little bit more oil. Now if there's an oil I hate changing, it's gear oil. It stinks, and I mean it stinks. It's not like engine oil, but we have to do it. So I've got my drain plug under here. We're going to drain the oil, and this is our filler cap here. Same thing, we need to loosen this top bolt to let the air come through and drain it out properly. So let's undo this bolt and drain this oil out. Make sure there's no dirt. $19. Now on these, you just fill the oil up to the top. Oh, there it is. So I'm full. The oil actually looks beautiful and clean, but we're going to change. Oh, it stinks already. Try not to get this on your clothes. Oh, it's on my hands. There it goes. So you can see there's not a lot of oil in there, but we'll drain that all out. Oh, it stinks. So that's all out now. So I use this oil, 2T gearbox oil for Yamaha and Suzuki. I've always used this and never had any problems. GL4. So let's fill it back up. It's nice and full. It's right there. So we'll put that on. Okay, and that's it. So as you can see, it was easy. We've got no oil leaks. And now all our oils have changed, so it's great. So thank you. I hope this helps you a little bit if you want to do it yourself and you didn't know how to do it. It's easy. It's only taken, what, 10-15 minutes? And simple. Thanks a lot. And always remember, drive like you know each other. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.